Brought to you by the Edge Center at UT Arlington, this is GradChats, your space for real stories, bold truths, and everything they don't teach you in the graduate classroom. Whether you're walking across campus, taking a break from your lab, or just listening in during your commute, we're just so glad to have you here with us. I'm your host, Alejandro Ruiz, and today we're excited to launch Season 3 of this podcast, formerly known as Charlas Entre Amigos. We've rebranded, we've grown, and we're entering this season with a new concept in mind. GradChats, inspiration for the journey, not just the degree. Because grad school is about so much more than just late nights and deadlines. It's identity, growth, detours, mentorship, self-discovery, and yes, sometimes just figuring out how to breathe through it all. So, tune in and kick back. I'll be your host for this journey through graduate life. Welcome back to another season of this podcast, and the first as Grad Chats. This season, we're starting off by taking it back to where it all started, and I couldn't think of a better way to do that than by welcoming back the guests from our very first episode. We're joined today by Nancy Zamora, director of the Edge Center, and Catalina Molina, our career development specialist and student champion through and through. Nancy, Catalina, welcome back to the podcast. It's so good to have you both here.
Thank you.
Hey.
It is definitely after Labor Day.
Absolutely.
So the energy is a little down, but it is all good. Luckily for us, it's just a conversation, right? So let's set the stage. A little over a year and a half ago, we recorded episode 1 in what was basically, a construction room and a quiet hallway just full of dreams. So fast forward to now, new podcast name, new listeners, and a growing community that still keeps coming back for the same reason, connection. So Nancy, I'm going to start with you. You shared the Edge Center's vision in that first episode. So tell us, what's changed in the last year and a half, and what milestones or unexpected wins have stood out to you?
Oh my goodness. So much has happened in the last year and a half. I can't even begin to wrap my head around it. I think, the biggest thing has been the grand opening. I mean, we had an amazing turnout with over, I don't know, I don't even remember. It feels like it's so long ago.
It was quite a bit, though.
So, a lot of students, a lot of faculty and staff that came and supported the grand opening. I feel like for a minute there, we were just talking about what this center was going to look like and what we were going to do. And people were like, yeah, but sure, you have nothing to prove, right? And then all of a sudden it was done. We were open finally. People were able to see the fruits of our labor that we worked extremely hard to do throughout the first few months that we all started here at UTA. Since then, it has been just a whirlwind of just milestone after milestone. Our first big event, our graduate students conference, our Jumpstart program, our semesterly activities and events, adding to our team, our great GAs who have taken a big part of who we are as an Edge Center and have provided support for other graduate students, which is much needed. I'm trying to think what else. There's just so much that it's hard to kind of wrap up in one. But it has been truly an amazing experience. And to be sitting here today and to see how people have reacted to it, how individuals are not only referring students to us, but also bragging about the work that we're doing is just amazing. And it truly fills my heart. And I'm so excited to see what else is in store for us. This is just the beginning. And just looking back and seeing what we've been able to do in the past year and a half has been truly amazing.
That's incredible, Nancy. Thanks for sharing. I know every time I walk into the Edge Center, it feels like there's more movement in the space. So it's definitely exciting to see it picking up. Catalina, you've also had a front row seat to students' stories, their internships, rejections, breakthroughs, all that. What have you noticed in the past year about what students really need?
I feel like when we think about students, right, the whole narrative that has been so far is like grad students like don't need help. They already have their bachelor's degree, right? They don't need any help. They got it, right? But time and time again, we've come to find that that is never the case. And I feel like, through like my one-on-one coaching sessions and, going into classrooms to talk to students, I feel like the biggest thing that they need is really just people who are like open, honest, and welcoming. Absolutely. Because like, you come into an office and you really just don't know what you're going to get. You don't know if the people are going to be, very like straightforward and businesslike, and they're not, the vibes are off, and they don't feel welcomed enough to want to come back. Therefore, they're missing out on all this like important information and resources because they just don't feel comfortable like entering a space. And so throughout like the past year and a half, like it's been really great becoming that space that students want to come back. They want to talk to us. They want to seek out our services. They want to bring their friends. Yeah. That is something that I realized, like, students like will come in like droves, and they're like, yeah, I went to my class and I told my friends about it and I brought them here. And I'm like, that is so cool. Like, I'm so happy for you to be here.
I will say that that's probably the biggest compliment when it comes to working with students. I've been doing this for a long time. And being able to see that you don't have to do anything except for be here and welcome students, and other students are going to bring their friends because of their experience is probably the most, exciting and also most complimentary thing that they can do. Yeah. Because it shows that, hey, I came here, I really enjoyed it, they're really helpful, come with me. And so, yeah.
And like, and just adding on top of that, right? We set the vibes. Like the programming is great. It's strong. The resources are just as strong as well. So like they're coming back and they're getting what they need, and they're getting the support that they have been looking for a hot minute. So I'll get students that come in and it's like their first time at UTA. They're like, yeah, I just got here, or like I graduated back in May. Like I'm an alumni, but either way, the journey's different. Like the place is the same or it's new, but everyone has like similar paths that they're walking that, oh my God, like I'm getting my grad degree. This is my first time doing this. Like, where do I start? And I feel like with a lot of my sessions, with like my one-on-one stuff, like that is a conversation that we have at least like once in their meetings, where it's like, I don't know where to start to do anything. Do I reach out to professors? Is it even worth reaching out to them? Or like, where else can I find resources within like my college? Or just things like that. So I feel like, just getting students like in our doors has just been like the biggest thing for me. And then consistently coming back. But has been really cool. Yeah. What I've seen. Yeah. They just want a place to call home.
Definitely. And I think that's exactly why we're, recentering this season around inspiration for the journey, right? Because it's more than just checking boxes towards getting your diploma. And at least what I've learned in my work is that sometimes, students don't just need another how-to guide or another tutorial. They just want someone to tell them you're not alone through that journey, right?
Build that confidence for sure.
For sure.
Yeah. And if they don't have it, at least have someone who's rooting behind them, rooting them on and encouraging them to continue, because it's hard. Graduate school is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. And when they're coming in here, they're just, a lot of the times, they could have parts of it figured out, but then there's others that they don't. And, depending on what their needs are, I mean, that's what we're here for, to cater to their needs and figure out what we can do and how we can service. Not all of our services are going to be needed by every student, but we definitely have a wide range of them. And if we don't, I think that's one of the other things that makes us stand out. Like, we have been able to build relationships throughout campus and understand what else is available out there. And if we can't help them, we definitely can guide them in the right direction to get the help that they need. we're not the end all be all.
Just a stepping stone on the way, right?
Absolutely.
So let's go deeper. Nancy and Catalina, you've both been graduate students yourselves, and if you're listening in and you're interested in hearing about their experiences, you can check out the first episode of season 1. But this time, I want to shift the focus a bit. Nancy, I want to start with you. If you could go back and speak to your graduate student self, what would you say to her, knowing what you know now?
Wow. First of all, even before starting the journey, my biggest regret has always been not starting graduate school a lot sooner than I did. And even though there wasn't a huge break between undergrad and graduate school, for me, I think it was like 4 or 5 years. I can't remember. But it was so difficult going back. So that would be my number one. But that's just in general for people who are thinking about graduate school. And then as a graduate student, I would tell myself, oh, man.
So many.
Yeah.
So many things.
Right? I think just stay strong and push on. This will end too. Like, it'll come to an end. You just got to put your head down and hit the road running and don't stop. Don't look back. Don't doubt yourself.
Thank you for sharing, Nancy. That's definitely very powerful. Catalina, what about you? Last time you spoke so openly about the mental health challenges that you faced during grad school, the pandemic gap year, and just trying to push through all that burnout. What message would you give your younger self now?
Girl.
It's hard, right?
Yeah. I mean, I have like notes, things that I talked about last episode in front of me because I was like, I was a nervous wreck. But I think first and foremost is to remember that I'm doing this for myself and to continue to do things for myself, not for other people. I think, with all of the with like my with the state of my mental health and the way that it was like back then, like I didn't put myself first. I put myself last in so many ways, and I think that prevented me from like seeking help for myself, and like also just my like believing in myself that I'm actually capable of getting through whatever challenges are in front of me. So I think just doing things for myself because I matter too, and this is my journey at the end of the day. It's my life. Y'all are just living in it.
Yeah. Facts.
But that's the first thing. And I think the second thing is it's okay to say no and walk away.
That's like in life.
Yeah. Literally.
General, yeah.
And, it was in grad school, it was not just grad school. It was also personal life things on top of that, which are still the same things that a lot of our grad students have, right? It's not just school, it's also outside of school. And so just remembering that I can say no. It's part of the journey. Yeah, it's part of the journey. And you can say no and you can walk away and still be okay. And that lends itself to putting yourself first. Like there are things that you don't want to do that you're going to have to do, which are part of the job, right? But anything outside of that, you can walk away. If there are like groups of people that you're just not vibing with and they're not helping you, you can walk away. If you feel that like in a professional sense, like you're not finding the support in the mentors you thought were going to help you, you can walk away and seek help elsewhere as well. And then the third thing I would tell myself is, like, continue to put yourself out there. Like, don't be afraid to, like, be yourself. Because I found, now that I think back, like, I found myself trying to be someone I wasn't in order to, like, mask all of my problems. But also to fit in with a crowd that didn't speak to me and my values. And I was compromising my values in the process. So like go find people who are your people and they will nurture you, they will pour into you, and that's going to be your support system. And that's what's going to help you put yourself first and walk away and make those hard decisions. And so that's what I would tell her.
Thanks
Of course,
for
in
sharing.
writing. That way she doesn't forget.
Definitely.
Strongly worded text message.
Well, let's shift gears just a little bit. We've had 2 full seasons now of Charlas Entre Amigos, right? And this being our 3rd and first is Grad Chats. Whoever wants to take this question can go first, but what are y'all's hopes for this 3rd season, and how do y'all hope it ties back to the Edge Center's mission? I know I got y'all thinking this morning.
I know it's too early for all of this. I didn't even drink coffee today. I drank tea. I was trying to be good. I should have drank the coffee. I knew it. I was gonna let Catalina go first, but
Girl, I'm still thinking.
I'm thinking too. But I'm like, okay, I think I got a little something. We'll see. I think for me, it's the continued growth. I think that we've been able to reach a really cool, demographic of people all over in the first 2 seasons. But I think this year it's going to go even farther. And I think tying it back to the Edge Center, I just want for this space, whatever you want to call it, like audio space. I don't know. To be as welcoming and as personable as it is coming in the door. Like, even if you are, a student who lives in Florida and doesn't, not commutes. That would be a big commute.
Oh, girl.
That is a virtual learner and they can't come into the Edge Center. Like, at least they have the space to where, like, they can listen in and be, like, somehow connected to UTA, to the Edge Center, and to, like, what we're trying to do here, which is build a community of students who support each other and feel empowered by, the team here at the Edge Center. And that's the best I can do, Adam.
No, that was great. I think that's a great response.
Pass it on to Catalina.
Pass it on to me. I think first and foremost, like, continuing bringing the outside in, right? Because UTA has something for everybody. And if there's not, like, a place for you, you can create it, which is, like, super awesome. Which this is what we did with the Edge Center, right? We created it, and so continuing to do that is one of my hopes. And I definitely agree with Nancy, like, bringing the Edge Center to people who can't come to UTA physically. If you can hear us and, like, listen to all the stories of our alumni and our students and our faculty and just feel your sense of belonging from afar, like, that is super cool and super awesome. And I think just continuing to bring stories to life. We don't know what we don't know. And I think it's really important for students and for alumni and anybody who directly and indirectly works with graduate students is to hear from the people, because that is how you learn the best. That is how you remind yourself that you are not alone in this world and that people are walking alongside with you. They have either tread the path that you came on, or they're inspiring you to continue that path and, making awesome things for the people who are coming after you. And so, giving a voice to the folks and letting them know, like, hey, we've been through it, or we're going through it. You can too.
Absolutely. And even those who are not going through it, and don't let us scare you. Our purpose is not to scare you. For those who are thinking about, coming to graduate school, just to expand beyond just the current graduate population or UTA graduate population, whoever's listening, it is a difficult journey, but it's definitely doable. And what we're trying to do here is to help you just to hear how others have worked through it, how others have utilized their resources and their services and built communities and built support systems. and hopefully you can take all of that and say, you know what, I think I can do it too. You know, if they were able to do it, so can I. So I'm going to go for it, right? Sometimes you need that little encouragement from someone, whether that's, you know, a friend or stranger, whoever it may be, just depending on what your situation is. For me, it was a peer, like a colleague of mine that encouraged me, and I was like, I don't know. But I knew that I eventually had to. And I just was so fearful to take that jump, to make that jump and put myself back into school. And I just wish I would have probably just had other stories to like kind of relate to.
Yeah, I agree.
To not just, to even just identify that fear and identify that like imposter syndrome. And I knew about imposter syndrome, you know, in undergrad and all of that, but just like that misconception of like, oh, now you're a graduate student, you know, you don't need services, you should know how to do stuff, right? It's not knowing, you know, not knowing what you're going to get yourself into, not like being able to picture that. As a first generation college student, you know, I did graduate from high school, college, and I was the first one in my family to do it. So like the thought of graduate school was like beyond anything that I had ever dreamed. So yeah.
Oh, thank you all for sharing. If there's anything that I take away from this, despite the early morning, is how much energy this brought out in y'all. And it's what we're trying to share with our students. Like y'all said, it's not just information, but affirming them. It's not just sharing advice, but being there in solidarity with them. Because like we said, the journey isn't linear. It's messy. It's meaningful. And this podcast is a place to remind people that it's okay to grow slowly and it's okay to question where you're going as long as you keep going, right?
Yeah. And don't compare your journey to others.
Absolutely not. Whatever. That's my biggest thing through grad school. I kept on comparing myself to the rest of my peers, and like that was something I needed to stop. That's another thing I would tell my grad school self. Stop comparing yourself to other people, because literally, quite frankly, no one is the same. No one is the same.
No one's the same, and nobody knows what you're going through and what challenges you're having to overcome when it comes to your journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I forgot what my thought was going to be, but yeah.
No, I just thank you all for taking time to talk to us today and for sharing your thoughts about the Edge Center and your advice to our students and sharing some of that energy with them and inspiration to keep them going on their journey. So thank you all for coming back to open this third season with us. I hope you feel welcome in this space, and I hope y'all come back and keep sharing more with us. To our listeners, this season is for you. For the nights you almost gave up, for the mornings you showed up anyway, and for every moment in between when you just needed someone to say, "We see you. We hear you. You belong here." Be sure to follow us, share this episode, and tune in all season long as we share inspiration for the journey, not just the degree. And hey, before you go, here's a little teaser for what's coming up next on GradChats. You ever wonder what happens after grad school? Like once the late nights, group projects, and Canvas announcements are behind you? Well, in our next episode, we're catching up with someone who's been there quite literally. A former grad student who's taken everything they learned here at UTA and turned it into an actual career. And not just any guest. They might sound a little familiar, because our surprise guest is someone who once sat right where you are now, probably refreshing their email too much, stressing about job applications, and wondering what comes next. Well, let's just say next came a lot faster than expected. So stay tuned for a story of growth, grit, and what happens when the tassel turns and real life kicks in. Trust me, this is a story you won't want to miss. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep showing up, and remember, we're here to support you every step of the way.